I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with author Randall Osborn about his sensational book. It is called Noah's Ark Finally Proof: My Journey to Discovering Biblical Places and Christ-Centered Truth. We're delighted to have Randall in the spotlight today. We thank the folks at Good River Media and Print for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Randall, thanks so much for being our guest today on the show.
Yes, I'm very glad to be here with you. Thank you.
Great to have you. Noah's Ark is something we've all heard about during our lives, regardless of our faith, regardless of our religion. And some people always viewed it as a children's story, but you're trying to say, and you do have proof that this is the real deal. This really existed. Tell us about that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You know, the Quran talks about the story of the flood, talks about even Noah being the builder of the ark. And of course, the Bible tells us this also. And you know, the interesting thing about the story in the Bible is the fact that it gives us dimensions of the ark.
Right.
And dimensions of the ark in the Bible says it's 300 cubits. But how do you know how big a cubit is? Well, Ron Wyatt, the man I worked with for 7 years, from 1989 to 1995, discovered that the Egyptian royal cubit is 20.62 inches long. And if you take that dimension and look at this boat that is in our book in eastern Turkey in the mountains of Ararat, not on Ararat, but it's in the mountains of Ararat, as the Bible says, mountains plural. And that's kind of interesting because if you're a Christian, you believe the Bible, it says in the mountains, plural, of Ararat. So you're not going to look on top of a extinct volcano like Mount Ararat. See, the problem is that many centuries ago, they changed the terminology for that region. They now call it the Ararat region, but I mean mountain, but the whole region used to be called Ararat. And so that it confused everybody as to where the actual boat would land, and it landed in that area. So the dimensions I'm talking to you about is 300 cubits. That's what the Bible says the boat was supposed to be, 300 cubits. And a cubit being 20.62 inches, or that's the royal Egyptian cubit, comes out to 515 feet long. And that's exactly the dimensions of this boat in eastern Turkey.
Amazing. Is the boat intact or in pieces or in rubble, or what's the status of the boat?
Okay, the boat, let me give you a picture of it.
Okay.
If I can, I know that I can do this. Oh, how do I get that? Okay. I need that other picture too. Can you give me that other one? This is a picture Ron Wyatt took for me when I was on the boat, working on the boat. And this dimensions of this, we taped it out, and it definitely is 515 feet long. Now, what's interesting about this is not only, like I said, the Quran talks about the flood story, and the Bible does, but people of Turkey, the Turks, have built this visitor center. You see this center? I don't know if you can see it very good.
Yep, I see it.
They built this visitor center out there, and they even made a sign and said, Nuhan Gamze. That's Turkish for Noah's Ark.
Amazing.
And so they said right there that they believe that's Noah's Ark, the one in their Quran.
Now, the Noah's Ark you have found that you show in those pictures, did Noah put two of each animal on the ark as said in the Bible? Is that part of what you've discovered,
right.
or that's only?
That's right. Noah used he didn't use full grown animals. He used baby or smaller animals, maybe
Right.
1 or 2 years old, something like that. And so they didn't need a lot of room, and younger animals wouldn't eat that much.
Mm-hmm.
So how much he had to have food wise on the ark would have been fine with what they had with the amount of animals. So he also had 7 of the clean animals that's talked about in the Bible. So there was enough room at 515 feet long, this boat, and 50 cubits wide. It's a big, big boat. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting about this boat is that I've found interesting is that Ron Wyatt discovered a number of things, but what he discovered is that there's anchor stones at this site. Anchor stones, what are they? A giant stone like you see I'm standing next to right here,
right,
in this big stone.
Yeah.
He had many of these stones tethered on the bottom of the boat. Why would you tether 20 different these giant stones at the bottom of this boat? Because we recently discovered that National Geographic made an interesting video dealing with the ability of this boat to be able to ride over a giant wave. I mean, we're talking like two tsunami, a giant wave, with those stones tethered and the bottom of the ship. This boat, this ark, was able to ride over, no matter whether it was 100 feet tall, we don't know, but the tallest wave that would come, this boat could go up and ride right over it. The National Geographic video that they showed, I'm sorry I can't share that with you, but I have a copy of that, and it's wonderfully done. And it proves that the boat, when you have it tethered like that, can ride over no matter how high a wave. Now, that was just one interesting thing that that was discovered about this boat. But another thing is that out at this very site, Ron Wyatt used metal detectors and subsurface interface radar, and he did a wonderful job in giving tons and tons of documentation about this boat. But he spent most of his life documenting this boat. I just worked with him 7 years. He probably spent 20 years verifying, documenting, going back and forth to Turkey, because he lived in USA. But he made many trips back and forth, working with anybody and everybody he could that would be interested. Even the Turkish government many times worked with him, documenting different things. But the interesting thing is that he had he was invited to a program that the Turkish government put on, a special invite. He was specially invited because of his work on the site, and the Turkish government had archaeologists, their own archaeologists, come out and verify this material. So what did I find? Why did I write a book about all this stuff? And
Yep.
what do I have to say and show you to verify or prove Noah's Ark is really there? And that's what I'm now excited about telling you about. And you see this artifact?
Yes.
This artifact was, they call it a fossilized or petrified what's it called? Organic carbon. That's what they call it, petrified organic carbon. Now, but what's interesting about this organic carbon is that it has all these nails sticking out of it. I don't know if you can see them, but there's little nails sticking out of it. And I picked this rock up over there, and I couldn't tell that there was little nails at the time sticking out of it. But when I brought it home, I took my little penknife and started digging around these little artifacts that were in this rock, and sure enough, I discovered that there were at least 7 nails sticking out of this artifact.
Amazing, amazing. So that goes to show you that this was crafted by someone's hand, that this was something that was built.
Well, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what proves it? What's the clincher of the proof? The clincher of the proof is right here. Well, it's not only am I showing you nails, but what I want to show, let you know, I have it here. We have the documentation that these nails that I'm showing you are man-made nails. How do I know that? Because they've been analyzed in a laboratory. And this nail right here, we sent off to the laboratory. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, absolutely.
There's a little nail on there. That little nail has been analyzed in a laboratory. What does that look like? It looks more like this. This size, it's about the same size as this right here.
Right.
And it's 0.24 inches long, or in diameter. In other words, if I hook it up here in diameter, its diameter as 0.24 inches. So, but it's a size of even of a giant. We believe Noah was a giant. He could have been around 12 foot tall.
Wow.
Could have been, he could use this easy on the boat to nailing it together. Of course, the nails would be much longer, probably. I don't know how long they were. Yeah. But
what sparked your interest in researching Noah and the Ark?
Okay. Well, the Bible. I've been a Christian for over 50 years. And a lot of people have poo-pooed the story of the flood and said, "Oh, that's too impossible. It didn't happen." And it just it irked me because I wanted to be a believer. Right. I wanted to believe, but I like everybody else like to have a little proof, a little evidence. What is proof? The dictionary says proof is evidence establishing or helping to establish a fact. Now, what I'm showing you, this is a fact that this is petrified organic carbon from that boat. And with this nail in it, makes it a clincher. But the best clincher is when this nail that I showed you was analyzed at the lab, it came out to be not just iron. No, no, no. This is not just an iron nail. This is aluminum and titanium.
Wow.
Think about that. This, the Bible tells us that Tubal-Cain was an instructor in iron and copper. So they knew how to manipulate different metals. So aluminum and titanium are high-tech metals. Right. And no one knew how to do it, because who was his instructor? God was his instructor. Exactly. Not just instructing him, but telling him how to build this boat, giving him directions from day one. The blueprints came from God.
Amazing. Amazing. The name of the book is Noah's Ark Finally Proof, My Journey to Discovering Biblical Places and Christ-Centered Truth. It is meticulously researched and documented and written by Randall Osborn. It is an amazing work. It will renew your faith. It'll have you take a look at this Bible story that we all know so well and look at it in an entirely different way. Randall, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Brother Crawford. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time as well. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Thank you.